It's a Conspiracy is a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB. For a list of other fun programming, please check out the albertapodcastnetwork.com, where you can find shows like The Loop.
It's a conspiracy!
That's
all right.
It's called my mouth.
My mouth.
I made cocktails in my mouth.
Oh my God. Are we good? Are we live? Okay, we're going.
We are live.
Welcome back to It's a Conspiracy. This is episode 13, Into Darkness. And as our long time honored tradition dictates, it's Greg's birthday, so he gets to read the intro credits.
Hey.
Okay. And happy birthday, Greg.
Thanks, you guys. Okay. Welcome back, everyone, to It's a Conspiracy. This is the podcast where we lay out the beliefs behind selected conspiracy theories, alternative accounts, legends, myths, and more. I'm your host, Greg, and I do not claim to be an expert on anything, and that's bullshit. I know a lot. We are going to discuss today, and we will probably be wrong about everything as unusual because I'm just so damn bodacious, and it's my birthday, brizzles and sizzles. Can I get a birthday holla for your boy, G-Dog?
Whoop, whoop. Holla, holla.
Also, on an unrelated note, like Charlie mentioned a little while ago, it was completely legit. One time, Andrew played a recording of me consenting to snack time, and I'm sorry if I ever said anything that would cast doubt on that.
Son of a bitch. That's amazing.
Fuck,
He
got
us
me.
again.
Yeah.
Got tricked. I meant to include some. Oh, and I mean, no, that was, no, absolutely.
Sure.
If you'd like to see where we dug up whatever glimmering nuggets we're going to discuss today, then please check out the resources in the episode description. Charlie inserts those deep in the caverns episode after episode, and you can dig them up.
Like a splunker.
A splunker. Yeah, if you want to. You can splunk away in the caverns, in Charlie's cavities. Lastly, we are a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB. Yay team. We got to point this out. ATB has stepped right up with this whole COVID-19 thing. They're like helping out people getting mortgage payments delayed and loan payments delayed. And it's like awesome. So they were already fantastic for sponsoring this, but they're just extra fantastic for that. You can check us out online at our website, itsconspiracypodcast.com, Twitter at Is It a Conspiracy? That's run by the Irish madman who's all locked up in his bunker. He is, man. Yeah. Facebook group, the Instagram, It's a Conspiracy Podcast. That's run by Greg. Our email and our Patreon page, patreon.com/It's a Conspiracy. Joining the parlay today is Charming Charlie and Gorgeous Greg. These shiny pieces of 8 will interject as they see fit, and I appreciate their company at a safe social distance.
So safe.
We have got this thing set up so we're all like
we're
2 meters apart.
2 meters apart.
We're about,
It's not usually we're like elbow to elbow.
Yeah.
In Studio C.
Studio C.
But where this is Studio.
I guess this is Studio B.
This is Studio B.
I would say this is the second place that we've ever recorded a
Yeah.
podcast. So.
Yeah. And we're under 50, so we're okay. And we're all scrubbed down for protection. We scrubbed each other down from distance. And
Rag on a stick style.
we are in strange times, indeed. These be uncharted waters, me hearties. So speaking of which, we have hit a milestone here. This is our 50th episode.
What?
Oh, I forgot to.
There you go.
There we go.
You better. Did you want ice?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Well, since you're pouring, I need a little.
You're a real neat guy, Andrew.
Just a little top up. Nothing
There
crazy.
you go.
Some
Yeah.
Jimmy Beamy.
Yar. Do you have some, Charlie?
Oh, I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good.
You have some celebrate. That is a beautiful
It is.
decanter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't think of the last time I used one of those.
Yeah.
So this is our 50th episode. That's including like the Vegemite trailer, the donut,
All of them.
whatever.
We're doing
So,
it.
The
this is
Vegemite catastrophe.
that
This
was
is the 50th time we've come together to.
We've come together 50 times. It's amazing. Yeah. So cheers.
Long distance
Cheers. Long distance.
Homies,
Cheers.
no clinking.
Cheers.
Add a sound effect of clinking.
Clink. Oh, smooth.
Yes.
That was fantastic. What are we? Is that?
That's Jim Beam.
That's Jim Beam. Oh my.
Jimmy Beamy.
That's suburban, my mind.
Oh yeah, that is phenomenal. Right then, Charlie, with a yes or no, can you tell me if you've heard of any of these 3 things?
Yeah.
Number 1, did gold come from space?
No.
Number 2, the Bre-X Scandal?
No.
Number 3, 10 fun facts about gold?
No.
Wait, I thought there was 13 facts about gold.
There might be 13. Actually, there might not be 10. There's some fun facts. Yeah, there's some
10.
facts. I don't
No,
know.
I've definitely heard about 13 facts about gold.
Yeah,
So.
there's
But not the 10. Hey?
no, and they have to be fun, not just facts,
Fun
but the fun
facts,
facts.
yeah. I've heard a couple boring facts too.
Yeah, and we're not including that kind of crap. All right, so here's subject number 1. Does gold come from space?
Okay, so to define theory, you actually have to define 2 different versions of theory. The first version of theory is the one used in common language, where people use theory as almost a flippant explanation, or one that's it doesn't necessarily have to be substantiated. So it's more a speculative guess. I have a theory that this is what happened, Sherlock Holmes style. The second version of theory is one that is very special to scientists, and it holds a very special meaning. It is something that's actually been shown to be true in repeated experiments using the scientific method. So over and over and over again by many, many scientists, the same result has happened again and again. That version of theory has stood the rigors of the scientific method and time. That doesn't mean it can't be disproven. It just means that it is one of those truths that we know in science.
Does gold come from space, friends? Well, according to the scientists, if you believe in the scientists, it may actually come from space, as there is simply too much of it.
If you believe the scientists, or if you believe in the scientists?
Yeah, in
Okay,
the
I just wanted to
scientists.
make sure.
Yeah, there's too much of it in relation to models of how these things develop. So they're like, the Earth developed a certain way, and there's way too much gold, and there's a whole big theory. Have you heard about this one before, Greg?
No, this is a new one for me. I
Gold
actually
from
haven't heard
space.
about any of these. So I'm
You haven't heard of the Bre-X Scandal?
This is a new one.
Oh, I think you'll recognize
I'm
the
sure
Bre-X
as soon
one.
as you talk about it,
Yeah.
you'll be like, oh yeah, I know this.
Ding! The light will go on.
Or your phone will go off.
Or my phone will go out. Speaking of which, I better shut that down right now. Okay. So, Brazilians of years ago, a whole bunch of things, dust, gas, meteorites, and other small planets, banged together long enough to create the Earth. Shortly after that, our planet was hit by something gigantic, about the size of Mars, and a huge chunk of it broke off and is now what we call the moon. So the moon used to be a part of the planet.
That's just the theory.
That's a theory. And that's part of this whole thing. But that's one of the theories. So the moon might have been flying by on its own and like ran by Earth and was like, you know what, we should stay together. Let's
seem
be
cool.
friends.
Let's hang out.
Yeah, let's hang out. Or it might have been blam, and the moon was like a broken off
I
part.
choose to believe they had a planetary meet cute.
It is nice. Yeah, it is nice. The idea of, while things were settling after the moon broke off. So the Earth, as it was at that point, would have just been a big, rich, creamy broth of volcanoes and lava, just stewing away
Like a
with the
space
flavors.
Cadbury egg.
And it was slowly cooling, and iron kind of showed up and managed to sink through the surface down to the core of the Earth.
Can you say iron one more time?
Iron man managed to sink through to the core of the planet. However, somehow the gold managed to stay up in the mantle rather than sinking down with the iron. If it had the same properties, so if gold had the same properties billions of years ago, like the physical properties, which shouldn't change, it should have all sank down to the core of the Earth as well.
Because it's a heavier metal.
Because it's a heavier metal. Metal. So it should have all sank down, especially if it was like super hot and it was like all getting mixed up. So it doesn't make sense that it's on the top. And that's when science came up with an explanation. After the core formed, there was a massive meteor shower, perhaps even multiple meteor collisions of gold meteors that deposited gold all over the Earth. So whatever gold had occurred here before would have all sunk down into the core, and anything new in the continental crust would have been provided by these golden meteors in the meteor shower. So I'm just going to condense that and say golden shower from that point on. I hope that's okay. So this means that there may be gold on the moon as well, which would prove this theory, because the gold would have been some of the iron and gold sunk down to the core of the Earth, but there could be gold before the moon broke off that was up there. So there might be gold on the moon, which is real neat. Real neat.
Excuse me, guys. I'll be back in a bit. I got to go check something.
Gotta go check my moon mine. This also means that there's an asteroid belt.
Sorry, could you imagine all the people that have bought like spaces on the moon?
It's a thing, man.
They just fucking became billionaires.
Oh,
just
dude.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of moon miners.
You guys want to buy some? You guys want to buy up some lots?
That will be a thing. I think probably within our lifetime, people will be like moon farming. They'll find some, maybe not gold, but they'll find some resource on the moon.
I'm open to a moon cheese farm.
Yeah.
This isn't an opinion, but you've ever seen the movie Moon with Sam
have
Rockwell?
I? Amazing movie.
And then they're like harvesting it for like not unobtainium, but helium-3 that it like powers the Earth. Like a kilogram powers 70% of the Earth or something.
Yeah, something like that. Have you seen Moon?
No, I haven't seen.
Oh my! Mwah.
Get it in you.
Chef's kiss on that one.
I got a lot of time on my hands right now. I might do that.
Yeah, watch Moon, and don't do anything else with your hands. Okay, keep them above the belt, up top where I can see them. Hands on the table. 2 and 10. So 2 and 10. 2 and 10. This means that there's an asteroid belt in our galaxy that could not only strike again at any minute. Even if it strikes once every couple billion years, we're due for another one, just to get everybody freaked out for that.
Oh, that old saying.
Yeah.
An asteroid belt strikes right once every couple billion years.
Right, once every couple billion years. Yeah. And it's also made of gold, so we'd be. Yep, the golden shower might return. We will find out. This concept is called the late Veneer hypothesis, and it has become a fundamental theory in planetary science. If you believe in fundamentals.
And a nice set of teeth.
It's also important to note that it wouldn't have just been gold. So things like carbon, nitrogen, water, and even amino acids may have been delivered via meteor to the surface. Okay, so Matthias Wilbold from the Imperial College of London infers that the Greenland rocks are a remnant of Earth's composition prior to the start of the late Veneer meteorite shower, postulated to have taken place between 4.4 and 3.8 billion years ago. So pre-golden shower. So Greenland is like pre-Veneer hypothesis.
Also known as PV.
PVH. Now, that theory has its critics because rocks found in Russia were confirmed to be a sapling at 2.8 billion years old. And they contained the same, I don't know what this is, I'm just going to read it. The rocks from Russia, 2.8 billion years, contained the same tungsten isotopes. So whatever the hell that means.
Tungsten isotopes.
So the tungsten isotopes, yeah. And so the rocks from Greenland were the same amount of tungsten isotopes.
Yeah, that's on sale right now.
Tungsten isotopes. So this would have been formed after the golden shower and yet didn't have the gold quantity. So they're like, what happened with Russia and Greenland?
They drank too much water.
Yeah. Now this one here, this is incredible. Matteo Tobel. Like, these got to be fake. Anyway, so he's from the University of Maryland, says these younger rocks had their full complement of elements known as hydrophiles, the iron-loving group of metals that includes gold. But in terms of tungsten isotopes, the rocks turned out to be very similar to Wilbold's, and yet the date from after the time proposed for the late Veneer bombardment. So he's like, they've got the same tungsten isotopes. And basically he's saying, I believe in this theory, but measuring tungsten isotopes, again, whatever the hell that means, is not the best way to verify that.
So like radiocarbon dating or something like that?
It would be like this theory might be right, but we got to come up with a better version of this. And then there's other theories about people like that are like, no, the gold, there's a whole bunch of gold, but there was so much gold that most of it sank down. It stayed up here. And that's another theory as well. Since the 1970s, there have been a surge in the field of analytical geochemists. And these researchers look at trace elements in samples and are convinced that their method will discover the origin of life on the planet. Life. So they're like, if we find out how gold was made, we're going to find out how we were made.
Because we are golden.
Yeah, that's really nice.
I like it.
Oh, and did gold come from space?
Space gold.
Now, what are we drinking here?
What are we drinking?
Goat Locker Brewing Company Light Pilsner.
Goat Locker.
Find your Goat Locker. The early goat lockers were simple, just a goat stall way below decks on wooden hulled sailing ships. No fancy pop-out sides for me. My 1960s Glendale canned ham is 1,500 pounds of weathered aluminum with chrome accents. This isn't talking about the beer at all.
I like it. It's very informative.
Single axle, dual propane tanks mounted on the hitch bar. Inside, it's all about the birch effect paneling and Harvest Gold appliances. Oh. No onboard toilet or shower. Gotta love those heated campsite washrooms.
What the hell is that talking about?
Oh, here we go. A gentle honey flavor delivering a crisp finish with citrus and undertones. I think that's what we were looking for.
I know.
so.
I like what you had going on the first time.
Yeah.
It says pairs with
Fish, soup, tacos, and chicken.
Fish, soup, tacos, chicken.
Fish soup tacos.
Yeah.
Oh, they also have an example of the beer color on the can. That's a new one for me.
And a nice gold color. I thought it was appropriate.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. Going for gold. here.
Drinking gold today, boys.
Yep. Light beer, 3.5%.
I'm into it.
Really, only 3.5? That's pretty much like non-alcoholic.
And it's from Lethbridge.
Left Birch, Alberta.
Brewed by Lethbians in Lethbridge.
Find your Goat Locker.
Goat Locker is such a hilarious name. Like, I was attracted to the can, and then I was like, Goat Locker? There's got to be a story there. And I didn't notice this.
Goat Locker, barely knew her.
Whoa.
This rambling story on the side is hilarious, though. Like, that is, I'm not sure what that's.
Is yours different from mine?
No, the early goat lockers were simple. Just a goat stall, way below decks on a wooden hulled sailing ship.
Well, I think they should think about putting different stories on different cans. Just, I'm not saying you did a bad job.
Oh, dude.
Mix it up a little bit.
This is a perfect time to go to ad number uno.
This episode is brought to you by Snow and Tell, the Winter City podcast. You can't change the weather, but you can change how you feel about it. The podcast explores how the right attitudes can uncover the opportunities and potential in winter cities. Let's take a listen.
It's not a spoiler alert. Winter is going to be here for a good chunk of the year, every single year.
For some people, the very thought of winter is enough to send chills down their spine.
But for others, winter is a season full of beauty, of adventure, of racing down the ski hill or snuggling by a roaring fire.
I don't want to be inside during the winter.
A season of contrast, light and dark, fire and ice, cold and warmth, a season full of potential.
Part of the lighting design process is making the informed decision of not to illuminate something.
If we have everything lit, then it just might look like a greenhouse where we're all tomatoes trying to produce work.
And every day, more and more cities and people are coming around to seeing the possibilities of winter.
The way that the city streets are being used is changing.
I'm Sue Holdsworth.
And I'm Isla Tanaka.
Welcome to Snow and Tell, the Winter City podcast.
Together, we'll talk to specialists and thought leaders.
We'll hear stories from everyday people just like you about their wintry trials and tribulations, triumphs and transformations.
We can't change the weather, but we can change how we feel about it, how we design for it, play in it, thrive in it.
I mean, we're all jubilant when we have a little exercise.
We can hibernate or we can choose to change our thinking and actually plan to make winter a better experience for everyone.
There is no such thing as bad weather. It's bad clothing.
Join us as we learn how to make our cold cities cool.
Find Snow and Tell, the Winter City podcast on your favorite podcast service or online at wintercityedmonton.ca/podcast.
I've learned over 70 years how you can get along really well outside in Edmonton, no matter what the season is.
It's Snow and Tell on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also find it online at wintercityedmonton.ca/podcast. That's wintercityedmonton.ca/podcast.
If we got a Mandela minute.
Mandela minute.
It's Mr. Rogers. I figured Golden, and since you kind of brought him up until he said he gave everybody the finger.
Oh, yeah. He did do.
He did not.
He fingered everybody.
Do you guys remember A Wonderful Day in the Neighborhood, like the song, how it goes?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Sing it, Andrew.
It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be mine?
It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. A wonderful day for a neighbor. Won't you be mine?
Won't you be mine?
Won't you be mine?
All right.
Won't you be my neighbor?
So a lot of people remember it. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A wonderful day in this neighborhood.
It's a beautiful day.
But it is. But it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. A beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine?
Yeah.
Could you be mine?
Yeah. Because
so a majority of the people in the world remember a wonderful day after a beautiful day.
Right.
Right. So the first lyric is "It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood."
No, the first lyric is wonderful, as I just clearly stated in the majesty of song.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. A beautiful day for a neighbor.
No,
would you be mine? That's the first line, and that everybody gets it wrong.
That's quite inaccurate. Back in my universe, Charlie, which one do you remember? Are we? I've been constantly in different universes than you guys.
I just remember that it was like
I can only get through the first line, which is "It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood."
I don't remember if it's a wonderful day or a beautiful day for a neighbor, but I do remember that it's for a neighbor because
for a neighbor. Yeah.
That only makes sense for the next line. Won't you be mine?
Won't you be my neighbor?
Yeah. Well, then okay. The following lyric is "It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty."
No, that's bullshit.
Would you be mine? Could you be mine?
That doesn't make any damn sense.
Yeah, that's the
Cite
lyric.
your sources. This is ridiculous.
A song by Fred Rogers.
Did he write the song?
He wrote the song.
No way.
He was
I didn't know
stoned.
that.
Have you watched the movie?
No.
Oh, dude.
The documentary about him?
I watched it. I haven't.
He
I know.
is legit the most wonderful human being I've ever heard about.
I know.
And you were right, that part when he's like, have you ever wondered how long a minute is? Like just the tears, man.
Oh, holy Christ. It's actually so beautiful, man. But so it's basically nobody gets the lyric right because they just don't remember how he sings it.
Or we're in different universes and he sang it the one way.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, what I said was an opinion. So most people remember. It as "It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood," but it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood.
It's been a damn long minute since I've seen that.
Well, usually he also
a hot minute.
This is another thing too for me that I'm thinking about it. I know we're probably jumping into opinions and shit, but he was always putting on his jacket or tying his shoes while he was singing it. So there was
You're
at one
so
point
distracted.
where he wasn't looking at you.
Yeah,
you could actually where you couldn't just focus on what he was saying. So, interesting fact, they got the song wrong in the movie with Tom Hanks.
Oh, come on.
How did they sing in the movie?
I think they said "It's a wonderful day."
Because that's how it was supposed to be sung. That's perfect evidence right there, man.
Freddie Rogers there, my man.
What the hell does he know?
It's a beautiful day.
Oh.
And,
Beautiful day, neighborhood, wonderful day for a neighbor. That's the way it's supposed to go?
that's the way people think it is.
That's the way people think it is.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. It's a beautiful day for a
Beautiful
neighbor.
twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even the movie, they said wonderful, then beautiful.
Well,
Even Mr. Hanks said
Mr.
wonderful, then
Hanks.
beautiful.
I think Hanks
Hanky.
is allowed to make a mistake. Like, come on, it's Tom
Sure.
Hanks, man.
Or he's from the real universe. That's oh my.
Whatever, man. That's your golden.
That is a good one. That's a really good one. Yeah. Golden. Okay, so subject number 2, the Bre-X Scandal.
Bre-X.
The Bre-X.
Hi-ho, it's home from Mexico.
Bre-X.
What does this have to do about cheese?
Yeah. that's
No, it's
kinda
not.
what
It's
mine
not.
is.
Brie.
Did somebody steal like $1
The
million
Brie.
worth of cheese?
Oh, this is about billions, but there might be cheese in here. I'm not sure.
Is it like that one time where there was like $4.6 million worth of Canadian maple syrup that was stolen and never returned?
That sounds amazing. Whatever that is, we'll have to look into that for a future episode.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, it's not a theory or a conspiracy. It happens.
Well, the Great Syrup Caper. So Bre-X was a group of Canadian companies based in Calgary. Here's their neat story. Okay, so a guy named Michael de Guzman was a geologist working for Bre-X. And he puts out this report that there's a whole bunch of gold in Busang, Indonesia. I hope I'm saying that right. Everybody got excited. The stock market just went crazy. Everybody started investing in these guys. Bre-X bought the area, announced the gold, and suddenly the company, like overnight, was worth billions. And everyone's like, oh, we're all going to be billionaires because we found the gold in Indonesia. Unfortunately, the gold didn't exist. So experiments had been tampered with to make the geologists working for the company think there was gold. This was done via a technique called salting. So what they would go in there and they would scrape off gold from gold samples, and in some cases even jewelry. They'd take like somebody's watch.
Give me your watch.
Yeah, just scrape off the gold in the area, and someone would come along and be like, oh, there must be gold buried here because we just found some gold scrapings.
That one
on
says
the ground."
Rolex.
Yeah. And somebody was like, if this gold was like from this depth in the earth, it would like look different and it wouldn't be processed. And so everything kind of like was a little suspicious after that. And then things got real when de Guzman, who was the geologist who made the initial announcement, committed suicide in what might be the strangest way I've ever heard of anyone committing suicide. Okay, so he was in a helicopter flying over the Indonesian jungle, and he threw himself out of the helicopter.
Did he stab himself in the back 5 times?
Oh, it's coming, man. Okay, so
stop looking ahead, Greg.
No, so his body was found 4 days later. hanging from the trees, and it was like suspended there. And apparently animals had been at him a little bit, but it was clear what had happened to him. So he was missing his hands and his feet. And they also noticed that it was very obvious that his penis had been surgically removed. So the theory was that after his hands, feet, and penis were severed, he threw himself out of a helicopter. So little bit of a strange one there. The company went bankrupt in the early 2000s.
Man, if you want to go skydiving, you want to go?
Well, you want to keep your hands for something like that. How do you get out the door without hands and feet?
It's called emergency release.
I guess so. Just elbows and knees.
That's what friends are for.
Friends helped him out of that helicopter. That's an opinion.
Yep.
The company went bankrupt in the early 2000s, and thousands of people from all over the world who initially invested lost everything. A number of charges were brought against the owners, who constantly, they're like, we didn't do anything. And no one was ever charged officially with anything. No one ever got their money back. And all of the cases against the company were dropped eventually. And it's like, nobody went to jail. Everything's fine. And that guy, he committed suicide. We didn't. He was up there. He just was sad. So yeah, that's the Bre-X scandal from Calgary, Alberta.
Boom.
Yep.
Well,
yes, sir.
It's a golden city. That's for sure.
That takes us to ad number 2. Boop, boop.
Have you ever watched a movie and there was an actor in it that was all wrong for the part they were playing? Have you ever wanted to imagine someone else in the role? Never fear. That's precisely why repodcasting exists. Listen as co-hosts and cousins Janet and Lucia recast their favorite and not so favorite movies with their dream cast. They also take a moment each episode to imagine which role in the film should have been given to Tony Danza, because let's face it, Tony Danza would make every movie better. Repodcasting is a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB. You can find Repodcasting wherever you listen to podcasts or at albertapodcastnetwork.com. Happy listening.
Subject number 3. 10 fun facts, and there might not be 10, but there's fun. And that's what we're here for, really. Now, I had
some fun facts about gold.
My bonus fact. This is how into this I am. We're going to start with this here. So the bonus fact is Classic Country Gold, 1983, RCA Records.
Classic Country Gold.
Good. Oh, solid. There was a collection. It was like 3 albums.
No, I'm thinking about a solid gold collection that you would used to collect at gas stations.
Yeah, not solid gold collection.
Yeah.
Although that had a similar. Solid Country Gold had like a really cool 80s.
Totally.
Like the logo was amazing.
I know that too.
Ronnie Millsap was on it.
I had the Elvis Gold album.
Elvis Gold.
RCA.
All right, so gold facts here. Number 1,
gold.
Your body contains about 0.2 milligrams of gold.
Mine.
So if you're
shake it out.
Shake it out.
You're not worth much.
Yeah. Number 2,
gold.
The symbol for gold, comes from the old-fashioned Latin name for gold, aurum, which means shining dawn or glow of sunrise. The word gold comes from the Germanic languages, originating from the Proto-Germanic gulp and Proto-Indo-European gel, meaning yellow-green. And yeah.
Saying so many words
yellow-green.
Now.
The pure element has been known since ancient times. O is probably the original name. This is why orophobia is the fear of gold. I don't know about you guys, but gold terrifies me.
That's a lie.
A lot.
No, it is.
I don't believe that.
No, that is a lie. A lot of things terrify me, but not gold.
That's why I don't have any of it.
I wouldn't keep gold. It's scary.
It's scary.
Yeah. Number 3,
gold.
Gold is extremely ductile, which that sounds like DuckTales, but a single ounce of gold is about 28 grams. That can be stretched into a gold thread 5 miles. That's 8 kilometers. 8 kilometers long. 1 ounce of gold. You can put it in a string and make yourself an 8-kilometer string. Gold threads can even be used in embroidery.
That's how my name is stitched into my underwear.
Air date.
Number 4, gold. Malleability is a measure of how easily a material can be hammered into thin sheets. Gold is the most malleable element. A single ounce of gold can be beaten into a 300 square foot sheet. A sheet of gold can be made thin enough to be transparent. Very thin sheets of gold may appear greenish blue because gold reflects red and yellow.
Holy sheets.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. You sheet on my bed.
But like seriously, it can be like transparent.
It can be transparent. You can
This is like
pound it until it's transparent. See right through it. Have golden windows.
This is like transparent aluminum.
Yeah. Number 5. Gold! Although gold is a heavy, dense metal, it is generally considered non-toxic. Gold metal flakes may be eaten in food or drinks, although it is a common allergen for some.
Huh.
So
That's one thing I'm not allergic to.
To gold.
Gold.
Have you eaten gold before?
Yes.
You've eaten gold?
Yeah. Haven't you?
Are you talking about like Lucky Charms, like the yellow ones?
Hey, pot of gold.
Are you talking about like yellow snow? That's not gold.
No, that's what happens after the golden shower.
Frozen gold.
Frozen gold.
There's frozen gold in these hills, boys.
This one's really weird. Number 6.
Gold.
About 1/5 of the world's gold supply, that's valued at about $248 billion US.
It's in my nose.
Is kept right beneath the streets of London.
Oh.
So underneath the city streets of London is 1/5 of the world's gold supply.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if like there was like no safe, nothing? They just left it there. They're
Just
like,
sitting around.
no,
It's just there.
Who's gonna look
You just
there?
pull up a cobblestone. You're like, oh look, it's a wee bit of gold.
Oh, you know what? This is somebody's gold. I'm just gonna leave that
Oh,
there.
you know what? That's not my gold.
Yeah, I won't take it. I'll leave it right there. Number 7.
Gold.
Earthquakes have been known to turn water into gold somehow. So nobody knows how this happens, but earthquake happens and water somehow becomes gold. It's like magic, if you believe in magic.
Yes.
Number 8. This is gold. This is gold. The dinosaur. I'll try this one more time. So number 8.
Gold.
The dinosaur noises in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom were put together from a string of recordings of 2 snapping turtles having sex.
That has nothing to do with gold.
That has everything. That is gold. That is a gold
That
fact.
is gold.
That is
Okay,
gold.
guys.
Snapping turtles, getting it on. Yeah. And if you want to know what that sounds like, go watch Jurassic World. Number 9.
Gold.
Nearly half of all the gold ever mined in human history
Comes from my nose.
comes from a single mine, Charlie's nose. It is actually Witwatersrand. I'm definitely pronouncing
Say
that
that
wrong.
again?
Witwatersrand. Witwatersrand in South Africa. So nearly half of all the gold ever mined. Ever mined.
Never mind.
Ever mind.
Never mind.
Ever mind.
Ever.
Number 10,
Gold.
as we all know, in the year 2365, 2 Ferengi made a failed attempt to break into Fort Knox in the U.S. to steal the gold inside. Yep.
Oh, Quark.
Some 10 fun facts. Well, however many there were.
There was always Die Hard 3
With a vengeance.
with a vengeance.
Oh, that should be our season 3. St. Patrick's Day 3 with a vengeance. So was there gold elements in Die Hard 3?
Yeah, they tried. Remember, they were like, "Yeah, we broke into Fort Knox and they stole all the gold from Fort Knox."
Die Hard 3 is such a blur, man. I've seen it a couple
It's
times.
got Samuel L. Jackson.
I know, and it's better than 2 probably
a little bit.
And
I know a lot of there's probably a lot of Die Hard fans out there that will argue that.
Die Hard fans.
Die Hard fans.
Yeah.
Die Hard.
Die-Hearted.
fans.
Yeah.
Hardest.
Yeah.
Die-Hardest.
That was
But yeah, I think like anything after 3 is like we just forget about it.
3 was pre him being like, I'm gonna fight a helicopter with a car, and like
Yeah, he did some pretty badass stuff.
in 3.
Oh yeah, man, he jumped off like the Golden Gate Bridge.
Gold!
They're like, I don't think it's the Golden Gate Bridge. Say it again.
Gold.
They were in New York and they jumped off a bridge into like wires and shit. There was some pretty ridiculous stuff.
I think I remember it being a good one. That's the one where
Hans Gruber's brother.
Hans Gruber is yeah. Actually, that reminds me, with this whole coronavirus, just make sure you wash your Hans.
Opinion time. Everybody give me your opinion time. Everybody give me your opinion.
Okay, now Charlie, what was our first theory?
I don't even remember. Something about gold. Wait, space gold.
Space gold. And Andrew, what was the Mandela Minute? Did Mr. Rogers write the wrong words to his song? Yes, he did. Okay, Greg, what was our second subject?
10 fun facts about gold.
Oh no, our second subject was,
What are we drinking?
No.
something about
Gold.
came from Calgary.
Oh, the Brie, the
guy.
Bre-X, which
Bre-X.
sounds like a line of lingerie or something like that. Yeah.
Well, like Bre-X kind of sounds like that. Maybe it was aged a few extra months.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like cave brie.
Yeah.
You guys are thinking cheese still, or are we still talking about these guys?
I'm kind of hungry, actually. I could eat some cheese right
Brie
now.
is delicious.
Yeah, you'll have to take your word for it because
you're eating cheese.
Soft cheeses are particularly rough on the old colon. Yeah, and I'm glad I had to point where my colon is.
Do you eat cheese or dairy products ever so often, even though you know you're gonna?
I do, and sometimes I'll get away with it, which is why, like, I'll have someone and be like, I'm feeling fine. I've got like a ratio that I can have, and some days I'm like, a little bit of ice cream will be fine. I'll be fine. Last night 2 nights ago I had pizza, and I knew I'd be fine. My body was like, yep, we'll allow it. It's okay.
Don't worry, Andy. We'll be fine.
For whatever's going on today, I can tell. You just tell every day. I'm like, we're not doing cheese today.
It's a no Brie day.
Yeah,
gotcha.
It's weird, man. It's my 7th or 8th sense. Okay, so Charlie, do you think gold comes from space?
I mean, in a roundabout way, everything comes from space.
Everything does come from space.
Yes.
If you go back long enough.
We are all made of stardust.
We are. That's very nice.
Therefore, yes.
Okay, Greg, what do you think? Comment. Do you ascribe to the moon theory? Moon used to be part of the planet. Now it's
a theory.
That's a theory? It is a theory?
It is a theory. I can't. I don't know. I'm not an astrophysicist.
They bumped into each other at a mall, and they were like, "Oh, excuse me. Oh, I quite like you. Let's go have a date."
But if you think of the historical documentary Total Recall, there was the guy that had the little guy inside of him, whatever his name was.
Watto.
Krang. He did look like Krang, totally. That's kind of what you imagine, like Earth pre-collision. So it's like he was there, and then somebody like chopped him off, but he decided to stay with him.
It quaid.
Yeah. So okay.
Oh yeah, no, it's real. I don't think I said that.
No, wait. By the way, it's real.
Yeah, I think it's real too. I think probably
that's how they talk about how some of the oceans were made. Yeah,
like a little bit of water from the comets, and then
obviously it was devastating to what was happening to the Earth at the time, but like the Earth didn't know, and there was no life at that point. So yeah, that's how oceans were just like they talk about that being part of why oceans are formed and stuff like that.
It is wild to think that the construction blocks of life as we know it just all kind of landed via comet. It's like, oh, amino acids, oh, nitrogen, oh.
But doesn't that happen so many times in like science and stuff?
I guess so.
I left my fucking sandwich in the wrong fridge and penicillin.
Yeah, totally. Done. Actually, I forgot to mention, but thank you to Dr. Rye, who is going to, at the beginning of that, he's going to give us a little.
Are you talking to the whiskey?
No, no, Dr. Rye.
Thank you to Dr. Rye.
Yeah, a friend of mine. He's going to explain at the beginning of that what a theory, what the theory is. So the idea of like, oh, I have a theory about Harry Potter versus a scientific theory. He's gonna jump in with some with the definition there.
Thanks, Dr. Rye.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Rye.
You're very welcome. And Charlie, I've heard that joke a million times. You can be funnier than that.
Okay, now
Rye guy.
As for the Mandela Minute, I've already made my opinion clear on that. It was wonderful and beautiful.
Clear.
So
obviously you're wrong.
I sort of remember, but I don't remember very well, just because it was so long ago, and I haven't thought about it in a long time.
I don't know if that means you're in a different universe because your rememberies.
No. This time it's still too foggy, too
foggy to be in a universe.
Yeah.
It was a froggy night.
No clear stance on
you
this.
Shook your magic 8 ball, and it was like
check back later.
Yeah.
And Greg, what do you think? Do you remember this? Or you?
No, I don't remember it at
Okay.
all. I brought it up because it was something cute to talk about, and I thought it was a golden moment.
It is a golden moment.
Gold.
Now, as for Bre-X, Charlie, do you think the guy chopped off his hands and feet and penis and then jumped out of a helicopter?
I mean, that's what I'd do. I don't know.
Hey, man, I've heard of mobsters stabbing themselves in the back 6 times and then throwing themselves off a bridge. So
that's straight up like a mafia.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I agree with that idea.
Yeah, and the fact that a lot of people had lost billions of dollars, and then the guy just magically threw himself out of a helicopter.
Yeah, they chopped off his hands, and they were like, "He's mostly harmless."
Yeah. Yikes. That is
like,
terrifying.
Hey, Jim, could you give me a hand? Snap. Thanks, Jim. Here, hold this.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Michael de Guzman.
Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, Mikey.
Hey, Mikey.
Scary. Oh, it's terrifying. So yeah, do you think, Greg, do you have any thoughts on the Bre-X thing, or is it just
now that we've talked about it, I do remember this. I didn't know any of this had happened.
I think it was 1998 that it broke open, but it was like lingering until 2002-ish.
Yeah, no, I remember hearing about it growing up because it was like, Y2K was going on at that time. So is the theory that like that there was no gold at this place, or that the
There
theory
w-
was that this guy
It was a massive hoax to steal billions of dollars.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, and nobody went to jail. Yeah.
100% a
Well,
hoax.
someone didn't go to jail, but they fucking had a good time.
Yeah. Somebody took all that money and then threw that poor guy out of the helicopter. So, and then
Number 3.
Do you guys like fun facts?
Well, they're so
I
fun.
love fun facts.
That gets me going. Keeps me going through
is
these
good
tough
stuff, right?
times.
I like
Yeah.
fun facts when they come with food. This is snack time this episode.
We got a snack time coming up. So yeah,
Stay tuned.
And the snapping turtles thing that. All right. Well, stuff my peppers. Wasn't that a journey of love and triumph? Yar, it sure was. Yar.
A jalapeno popper.
We really do appreciate you stopping by for a listen. Please feel free to rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend, tell your neighbor, spread the good word.
But only spread the good word.
Yeah, spread the good word.
Yeah, don't spread anything else.
If you have a negative opinion, let us know.
Yeah.
And if you have a positive one, let someone else know.
Yeah.
Is that how that works? You can check out all the past episodes and social media stuff at It's Conspiracy Podcast, and we'll be back on April 1st with episode 14. That is our 50th episode. So happy birthday, Greg. And you guys had your birth month coming up, and WWF's coming around the corner. Easter.
WWF.
Everything's
Or WWE.
WWE's canceled. No, it's not canceled.
Everything's canceled.
It's not streaming?
Well,
I saw the AEW no crowd wrestling. It was kind of harsh.
let's talk about that later.
Okay.
I have some really good thoughts about that.
I liked it, but
Good ones. Good ones.
Okay.
Good ones.
Thanks for listening. Stay home. Wash your hands. Go outside if you need to. Practice social distancing. Whatever.
Stay healthy. Stay safe.
Yeah. Stay healthy. Stay safe.
Go!